So I'm Brian from HyprChats, and I'm here with Tayber Voyer at A Thinking Ape, Pocket Gamer Connects, London 2025. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I see you have quite a storied background in product management and different things. Kind of, what can you tell us about your background and up to leading Thinking Ape?
Sure. Yeah, I think I started my career in games as an unpaid intern at Eastside Game Studio in Vancouver, famous for the title Pot Farm, and then now they do a lot of IP games. So they made Trailer Park Boys, they made It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a bunch of games like that. And so I started as an unpaid intern doing data analysis. And I had an opportunity to go to a couple of different companies for my internship, and I walked into the game studio and there was a beer fridge and there was a Nerf gun fight. And I thought, okay, this is cool. This is where I want to be. I had no idea I was going to get into games. I had no aspirations to be in games. I just knew I didn't want to be a lawyer. That was for sure. And so, I worked my way up to being a producer. And, then I moved over to Thinking Ape, and I was their first producer game designer working on Kingdoms at War. And I kind of just stuck around like a dirty shirt. And eventually, they worked my way up to CEO by becoming head of product and then moving into the CEO role. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I've been there for 12 years now.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's quite a story.
Yeah. Been around the block.
Yeah. So in your view, what's the key to building a strong and engaged user base? It's not easy these days to keep and retain a user base. What's your view on it?
Yeah, I think a game is something that is a little bit magic, in that there's not a lot of other mediums that are as interactive as games, obviously. And so, what we try to focus on is not just building something that is fun to play, but also something that is fun to play with other people. And so we try to build games that are social in nature, so that when somebody installs one of our games, they might make a friend. And if they make a friend in the game, then they'll stick around for a long time. So we think about games as a way to start a social relationship. And from there, we have things like, emergent behavior. If you give people the tools to interact, then they'll interact in new ways that you didn't expect. And then we try to build around that.
That's great. And you've taken a lot of games from start to finish well, launch isn't really the finish, but going from ideation to launch, kind of talk us through that process. How does it work?
Oh, I mean, games are always a bet. It's always a gamble. Mm-hmm. Every game is a group of people who have an idea that they believe in and that they're willing to make a bet on. And every game is also a miracle. That any game that gets made, it's an incredibly difficult task. There's no other medium with so many different aspects, whether it's animation, it's sound, it's design, engineering. When it all comes together, it can be something really magical. And so, a really, really good idea isn't enough. You also need execution, but a really, really good idea can gel a team around something that they believe in. Game makers are really like hedgehogs. We have like this idea that we believe is going to work, and you have to have a strong conviction. And so, when we come up with a concept for a game, the way that we like to think about it is, we try to find something that is going to work for our particular skill set and our technology that we have, and then try to figure out what the market wants and if there's an appetite for the thing that we want to build and the thing that we can build. And so we try to do as much early validation as possible. So when we have a concept, we'll take it and do ad testing early on before we've built it. And the way that we do that is not just to figure out, will people click on this ad, but once they do click on the ad, we take them to a place where there's a landing page where they can sign up to be part of the beta program. And so we can actually tell people like, hey, this game doesn't exist. We're sorry that we tricked you, but you clearly are interested in it. Would you like to be part of the community that builds the game? And that gives us access to a bunch of players that are willing to beta test the game. From there, we go into production, where we try to really quickly build something that people can play. So right now, from art concept to playable, takes about 3 weeks. And from there, we take another 3 weeks and we can get something out into the App Store that people can try. And so we're trying to build a really, really fast feedback loop where you've shown something to people, you know that they like it, they're willing to try it, and then you give them something to try and gather as much data as you can and use that information and that feedback to continue to improve the game. And hopefully from there, if you're lucky, you get a hit.
Yeah, I love the fast feedback loop of each stage giving a little more and letting the feedback come.
It's important. Yeah.
That's cool. Are there any gaming trends in general that you're particularly excited about and things that you're watching?
Yeah. So this is really recent and quite fresh for me. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and we play a lot of games together. We play League of Legends Wild Rift on the iPad, but we also play, mobile games. We play games on the Switch. We might play some Mario Kart. And recently, she came home from school and asked me to play some games on Poke games. And I didn't really, I knew what it was, obviously being in the industry, but I didn't really expect for her to want to play that. And she opened up, she typed in the URL herself, her friend had showed her how to do it, and she started playing the same games that we downloaded on from the App Store. She started playing some of these games through the web browser. And watching her play these games, I was like kind of amazed to see, somebody as young as 7 be able to just like open any app and quickly play it without any download. And so we kind of think about games on mobile as part of a walled garden, an ecosystem that's either Google Play or iOS. But we think about that because we think of games as apps that need to be downloaded, applications that run on the device. But in reality, a game doesn't need to be an app. And the more the technology moves forward such that we can build games and experiences that don't require the app to be downloaded, we can start thinking about them as being multi-platform in a way that we couldn't in the past. And that opens up a whole new paradigm of distribution. And for us, one of our key concepts that we like to think of is that every customer of ours should be a customer for life. So if somebody's willing to give us, any amount of money or watch a video ad and monetize with us, then we want to keep those players for as long as possible, because not many players will actually engage with the monetization of your game. And if we can access those players and build relationships with them, not just through the App Store, but also through web or any platform, then we can really broaden our ability to interact with our customers, and that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So that's the trend that is new for me. I didn't expect to see that, and I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, I've heard that actually earlier today too, that web-based games are seemingly making a comeback, and there's more demand for that type of format.
Yeah, the web is back.
Web is back.
Yeah, last year email was back, this year web is back. It's all a big cycle, it all goes in cycles.
Yeah, that's cool. And last question, what any previews for this year for Thinking Ape and what you guys have planned? Yeah,
we're working on right now as part of this fast iteration cycle. We have a game right now called Happy Campers that is a hybrid casual game. It's actually released worldwide, and we're doing some UA tests for it right now. And we are also building a game right now that's loosely based on, something between Tremors and a zombie game. And so it's a very fun hybrid casual RPG game where you ride a worm and you kill zombies. And then you get off the worm and you go onto your base and you can build up your base and then kill more zombies. And then you get on the worm and go to different locations. And so far it's probably the funnest concept that we've worked on in a very long time. The art looks amazing. And so those are the 2 games we're working on right now, but we're also trying to make it so that we're releasing 2 to 3 games every quarter. And so rapidly building more games is what you'll see from us this year.
Very cool. We'll get on the beta list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And thanks so much for being here. This is great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.